Good morning, and thank you for waking up with us. I'm Kate Chapman.
And I'm Julia Gilmore. Kate, can we please talk about this weather?
It is so nice outside. I feel like the pollen is finally starting to wash away, and to me, this is the perfect weather for the pool.
I know, I'm very excited. Let's head to our meteorologist, Nick Perazzi, to see just how many pool days we might have this week.
Yeah, hey guys, we're not going to get too many pool days at the beginning of this week, but as we go into the weekend, we're going to see those pool days accumulate. I'll get to that towards the end of this forecast, but for right now, we're currently sitting at 65 degrees, some passing clouds out there, and throughout the day today, we're not going to jump around too much temperature-wise, 67 by noontime, and we're struggling to hit that 70-degree mark today during the afternoon hours. In fact, we actually hit our high temperature of 71 at midnight today, so we're just been going down ever since, and we're going to level off now. And the reason why we're going to see that high temperature at midnight today is we have a cold front making its way through the Carolinas, and it's going to be pretty noticeable. Around noontime today, the winds are going to pick up a good bit. I've got my little friend up here to tell you just how windy it's going to be. 12 miles per hour at noontime, up to 16 miles an hour at 3 o'clock, and these are sustained winds. They start to die down as we get to the evening hours, but we could see gusts, guys, up to 25, 30 miles an hour throughout the day. So make sure you hold on to your hats. But once this cold front moves on through, we have a high-pressure system right over the Tennessee, and it's going to slowly drift its way into the Carolinas, producing more beautiful days. But you guys mentioned pollen earlier. It's not done yet, but we've officially reached the peak of pollen season, all the pollen counts. It's not going to look yellow like it was a few weeks ago. Very high, though, Tuesday and Wednesday, but Thursday and Friday, we get some relief. We're in the high categories, so not done with it just yet, but as we take a look at your 5-day forecast, just an overall gorgeous week. 69 on Tuesday. We struggle to get to 70 on Wednesday. Even on Thursday, we might get there, but those pool days, guys, Friday and into Saturday, 81 and in the mid-80s. Perfect pool weather for you guys.
Thank you so much, Nick. Spring is in full bloom, and so is a new wave of creativity in Carborough. In just 2 weeks, the Arts Center will come alive with color, purpose, and planet-friendly art. Sponsored by NC Solar, now and hosted by the Orange County Office of Sustainability, Down to Earth invites guests to view artwork created from recycled, natural, and sustainable materials. But it's more than just art. People can explore electric vehicles, hop on an e-bike, and connect with local conservation groups working to protect the planet.
Some artists are kind of not only creating something cool, but also sort of making you question everything about your own practices.
And it's time to lace up your running shoes and grab all of your friends, because this weekend, Tar Heel 10 is hosting their annual 10-mile race with already 8,000 runners participating. Our Mackenzie Acton is at one of the locations the runners will run by. Mackenzie, what's it looking like out there?
Thanks, Kate. I'm here where runners will be taking to the streets. Right behind me is Cameron Avenue, where the streets will be filled with runners taking part in their 10 miles. Now, this is the 17th year that the race is being held, and starting bright and early at 7 a.m. on Saturday, runners will begin on South Road in front of the Undergraduate Library, follow a 10-mile course that goes through Chapel Hill, and then finish in front of the Bell Tower. Now, if the 10 miles is a little too much, the Fleet Feet 4-miler, which is a shorter course that's offered, will be there as well. Registration closes at 7 p.m. on Friday, so don't miss out on your opportunity to take part in this amazing Tar Heel tradition. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Mackenzie. Now, Julia, I heard you are actually running the Tar Heel 10.
I am. I'm very excited, kind of nervous though. I've never actually run 10 miles before, but I am training and I think I'll be able to do it. Stay tuned for next week where I'll show you guys if I survive.
I'll be waiting for you at the finish line. Now, this is a favorite event for many seniors who just wrapped up senior week. In case you missed the incredible guest lecture on Thursday, the very special guest is back for our book club. Let's head over to Sammy and Sunny.
We are so excited to welcome Mary Pope Osborne, the author of the beloved Magic Treehouse children's series. Thank you so much for calling in this morning.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here. I love Carolina and I love participating in your show.
That's so great to hear. I know many Tar Heels are excited to hear that you are an alumni. You graduated in 1971. But you didn't study English here at UNC. So I'm curious if you can share a bit about how and when you first got into writing.
Well, I was actually living in New York City, and I was married to an actor named Will Osborne, who also attended UNC. And I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do in life, and I was, taking odd jobs and waitressing and doing everything at night. And then in the daytime, I was reading and thinking, and then I started writing. And it seems that I was a children's book writer, and I didn't even know it. But when I wrote my first young adult novel, that's how it was published. And from then on, there's no stopping me. And then about 10 years after that, I started the Magic Treehouse series. And there's no stopping that. I'm working on the 67th book in the series now.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah. And we all grew up reading it, and it meant so much to us. So I wanted to ask, where did you draw your inspiration from? Are there any stories inspired by your time in North Carolina?
Well, I would say that my childhood was spent in Virginia and North Carolina, and I drew a lot from childhood, from make believe and play and being with my brothers. We were at Fort Bragg, and then we lived in Oak Ridge, North Carolina, and that's when I went to Chapel Hill with my brothers, my twin brother, my brother a year younger, my sister went there, all of us. And I would say the spirit of play really took part in this part of the country. So that keeps alive in me. And with all these children I meet all the time, it's the flame is fanned. So I have a good life, and it's very inspiring.
That's great to hear, a whole Tar Heel family. And you spoke at senior lecture on Thursday. But if you could share a bit about your advice for graduating seniors who are entering the working world on how to maintain this childlike curiosity and imagination in their work.
Oh, good question. Well, I would talk a lot about retaining that child inside of you, um, knowing it's alive and well and will always be there, and use your imagination and take a walk with a child and try to look at your child inside and try to look at the world as if it were new and fresh. And I think in the speech I talk about looking at the amazing geometry of a dandelion and just being so awed by the beauty of nature. And I try to get that across in the books. But it's a process that goes on all the time in my life. I'm always looking and writing notes down and trying to see things in a fresh way.
Yes, what you said about the dandelion particularly stuck with me from the senior lecture. But thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to go reread some of my favorite Magic Tree House books. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, I have Pirates Past Noon here. This is one of my favorites. And I also want to tell UNC students how there's a Magic Tree House planetarium show here at UNC they can check out on Saturdays at 10 a.m. But for now, thank you so much, Ms. Osborne, for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Good luck in all your things.
Thank you, Sunny and Sammy. Now let me tell you there are some exciting events happening this week. This Thursday, Cat's Cradle is featuring a front-to-back revival of Amy Winehouse's Back to Black album, One of a Kind in the U.S. The album, which features hits such as Rehab, will be played by a 12-piece band with a full horn section and vocalists. Hosting the night is a Remember Jones, an entertainer who shared stages with the likes of Bruce Springsteen and Dionne Warwick. Doors open at 7 p.m. and the show starts at 8 p.m. Standard seats are $25 and the best seats are $40. And speaking of one of a kind, a global soccer showdown is coming to Chapel Hill this summer. And let me tell you, UNC students are ready for the action. On June 10th, the national soccer teams of Mexico and Turkey face off for the first time ever at Kenan Stadium as part of the 2025 Mex Tour. Carolina Ora's Henri Dixon asked UNC students about the thrilling match.
I'm personally very excited for the game. I've been playing soccer for a very long time, so it's one of my favorite sports. I won't be here, unfortunately, but I think if you can go to it, you should go.
I'm really excited for UNC to host Mexico and Turkey as a global studies major. It's super interesting to see how UNC is interacting with other countries and their athletic teams. Sadly, I'm a senior, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to make it, but I'll definitely tell my younger friends that it's something they shouldn't miss.
I'm really excited for the Mexico game.
Now, if soccer isn't your thing, calling all creatives and curious crowds, this Thursday is open mic night at Pluck Farm. Enjoy everything from music to poetry to comedy and more, whether you want to take the stage or sit back in the crowd and enjoy. Performances last 15 minutes each and sign-ups start at 6 p.m. Performances kick off at 6:15 and the event ends at 9 p.m. And speaking of mics, every fourth Sunday, downtown Hillsborough turns into a laugh factory. Thanks to the local comedian Jeremy Alder, who hosts a monthly show that brings a rotating lineup of local and touring comedians to the small town stage. The stand-up show features a new set of comics each month, all handpicked by Alder himself. Seats are first come, first serve, so plan to arrive early for the best spot.
Comedy is unique and be able to bring people together from different points of view, different backgrounds, to laugh together. And so, I think that's valuable.
Now let's head over to Kate. I heard a big-time film producer is coming to Chapel Hill. Kate, what can you tell us about it?
That's right, Julia. I'm here with Martin Johnson, a UNC film professor. Martin, thank you so much for coming on. And tomorrow we will have a big-time film producer, Christine Vachon, joining us right here at UNC. Some people might not know who Christine Vachon is, so can you tell us a little bit about her?
Sure. So again, film producers are the people that raise money for films. So it's a kind of thankless job, but very, very important to ensure films are made. Christine Vachon has been producing films since the early 1990s. And she is really one of the most important people who helped bring about what's called new queer cinema. So the kind of filmmakers that were telling stories about LGBTQ plus individuals, but not just kind of conventional stories that really kind of like aspired to the kind of heights of artistic kind of interest. And Vachon got her start working with Todd Haynes, who went on to produce films like Far From Heaven and Carol and May December from last year. But she's also kind of branched out. She was an executive producer for The Brutalists last year. She also produced Past Lives that also kind of got Oscar nominations last year.
Awesome. And one of her productions is Velvet Goldmine. I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about Velvet Goldmine.
Yeah, so Velvet Goldmine is Todd Haynes' third film, made after Safe, which is kind of his breakout film in terms of getting a little more Hollywood kind of interest. And Velvet Goldmine's it's kind of a biopic of David Bowie, but David Bowie refused to allow Haynes to use the rights to his music. And so Todd Haynes found other musicians to kind of tell the story, and it really kind of made for a more interesting film. It's loosely based after Citizen Kane, so kind of movie buffs will see those connections, and has a really terrific cast, including Toni Collette.
Awesome. Well, I'll have to check it out. What does this guest appearance mean for the UNC Film Department?
I think it shows kind of students that there's many different types of careers one can have with a film studies background. So obviously we all imagine, whether you're in front of the camera, maybe directing or writing, but tasks like producing are also really important. And it's exciting to see someone of her stature come to campus. Again, she's been recognized around the world for her work and hasn't yet won an Oscar herself, but I think will someday.
Awesome. And do you have any more final details about the two-day event?
So there are two events. Again, tonight, 7:30 p.m. will be the screening of Velvet Goldmine, and then tomorrow night at 7:30 will be a conversation with Dr. Michelle Robinson. Both events are at the Varsity Theater in downtown Chapel Hill.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us in studio today. It was a pleasure to have you. Let's head back over to Julia.
Yes, thank you. That does it for us today. Make sure to tune into Carolina Week Wednesday at 11 a.m. And Carolina Aura will not have a show this week, but we will see you all next week.